Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Dr. Danish, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, University of Central Punjab. Core focus is developmental biology. These MCQs are important for for Public Service Commission, federal government jobs, as well as educators for lectureship. These are important MCQs. We will discuss about the MCQs of multiple choice question of developmental biology. First of all, we will discuss about the introduction. First MCQ is a study of animal development from the fertilized egg to formation of all the major systems is called embryology. This is the definition of embryology. We study the formation of embryo from the fertilized egg for the formation of complete organism. This is embryology. Second objective, lysine are released from dash and dissolve the gel coat of egg during the fertilization. Lysine basically released from the part of the sperm which is called acrosome. Lysine is released from the acrosome, which dissolve the egg coat of jelly, egg coat of egg during the fertilization. The answer is acrosome. Third objective, all of the following are the part of members and cortical events associated with the egg activations except one. The metabolic spindles are not involved. Fourth, binding receptors serve the following function during the fertilization. The answer is they promote the sperm's egg adhesion and are species specific. Actually, these are the receptors which are associated, which are adhesive, perform the adhesive properties for syngamy and species specific. This receptor is known as bindin. Fifth, dash form that inner lining of the digestive cavity of embryo. The inner digestive cavity of embryo forms from the endoderms. Endoderm, basically there are three germ layers. One is ectoderm, second one is mesoderm, and third one is endoderm. Digestive inner lining form from endoderm. Sixth objective, dash form the muscles, blood, skeleton elements and other connective tissues. All these structures like muscles, blood cells, skeletal muscles and connective tissues form from mesoderm. They are originate from the mesoderm, which one is the germ layer of the embryology. There are three germ layers are formed during the gestation. One is ectoderm, second one is mesoderm, and third one is endoderms. Actually, the ectoderm form the outer epidermis and nervous system. Mesoderm form the muscles, blood cells, skeleton elements and other connective tissues, while the endoderm form the inner lining of the digestive cavity. Seventh, a stage of the echinoderm's embryo consisting of hollow ball of the cell is called blastula. Hollow ball of the cell is called blastula. At this stage, a blastocele is developed. Blastocele is body fluid filled cavity, which is known as blastocele. At which stage the blastocele will be formed. This is known as blastula. 8. Invagination of the cells in invagination of cell invagination of the cells with of the in the vegetal half of the echinoderm's embryo during this process is known as gastration. Ninth, the gastration is an amphibian embryo occurring in a superficial cell begin to roll over the dorsal lip of the blastophore. This process is known as evolution. 12. In amphibians embryo, the notochord and mesoderm form from chorda mesoderm. Actually, the chorda mesoderm is the origin of notochord and mesoderm. 13. Early cleavage in the zygote of the birds results in formation of blastoderm. 14. MCQs. An inward migration of the epiblast cells of the bird's embryo results in the formation of mesoderms, and the migration of occur along the linear invagination called primitive streak. This is also the objective which is important related to the topic post embryonic development and metabolism. Subtitle is hormone as a growth mediators. First one is metamorphosis is a series of abrupt structure, physiological and structural behavioral change that transform into an adult form, larva into adult, transform from larva into adult. The answer is larva. Second one is metamorphosis is under the control of neurosecretions, the hormones of anterior lobe of the pituitary glands and the thyroid gland. Neurosecretory of the hypothalamus. The answer is hypothalamus. Mechanism of metamorphosis explained in dash amphibians is pedomorphosis. Pedomorphosis basically at the larval stages when the organism sexually mature, but still at larval stages. Condition is known as pedomorphosis. Fourth, the thyroid hormones triiodothyronine T3 and thyroxine T4 regulate the metabolism of an aquatic dash into a semi-terrestrial and terrestrial adult aquatic tadpole. The answer is aquatic tadpole. Fifth, in the insect that display the ametabolous metamorphosis, the primary difference between the adult and larvae are dash and sexually maturity. Larvae are body size and sexual maturity. The answer is body size. 6. Metamorphosis involves the specific number of molt, eggs and adult stages during which immature gradual take place of adult form urometabolous. 7th, metamorphosis of immature are called larvae because they are very different from the adult in the body, forms, behavior and habitat. This type of metamorphosis is known as holometabolous. Eighth, the hormones regulate the many insect functions include the ecdysis and metamorphosis. The answer is metamorphosis. The hormones regulate the many insect functions include the ecdysis and dash metamorphosis. Dash secretion control the metamorphosis. Endocrine glands endocrine secretion control the metamorphosis. The answer is endocrine. 10th, in class Cynaria, metamorphosis occur after the larvae attack to the substrate. 11th, objective dash are any of the different immature feeding stage of the insect metamorphosis larval instar. 12. The post embryonic development refer to the period of development after embryogenesis. The post embryonic development refer to the period of development after embryogenesis. After the embryogenesis, the answer is embryogenesis. 13. The parathyroid secrete parathyromones hormones. The hormone name is parathyromones. 14. The growth GH or dash does not influence the particular target tissues, rather all the part of the body that are concerned with growth. The answer is somatotrophin STH. The growth GH or somatotrophin does not influence the particular target tissues, rather than it affects all the part of the body that concerned with growth. 15. The high concentration in tadpoles stimulate the larval growth and prevent the metamorphosis. This is prolactin. GH directly induced the cell division necessary for growth and protein synthesis is in most type of the cells by stimulating uptake of messenger RNA, ribosomes activity, uptake of amino acids, RNA synthesis and ribosomal activity. The answer is amino acids. 17. The thyroid gland is in the neck and two of its secretion are triiodothyronine, both of which influence the overall growth. Is thyroxine. One is thyronine and second one is thyroxine. The answer is thyroxine. Dash is necessary for growth and maintenance of the male sex organ. The hormone name is testosterone. The statement is testosterone is necessary for growth and maintenance of the male sex characteristics. Amphibian larvae of the some adults repair under the external gills during dash gills. That gills are usually reabsorbed and pharyngeal slits closed and lungs become functional. This is the metamorphosis. This case is metamorphosis. Endocrine glands release the chemicals called hormone into the bloodstream. The answer is bloodstream. The topic is secondary embryonic induction. First objective is the interaction of at close range between the two or more cells or tissue of the different history and property is called induction. This is the definition of induction. The ability to respond to the specific inductive signal is called competence. This is the definition of competence. The ability to respond to a specific inductive signal, this is competence. The answer is competence. Third, epithelia are the sheet or tube connected the cells. They are originate from any germs layer. The answer is germs layer. Fourth, they may introduce epitheliums or a set of the gene activate the responding epithelials can comply with these instructions mesenchymes. The epithelial components of the organ is endoderms. When the cell's protein on the cell surface interact with the receptor protein on adjacent cell surface, these are called juxtacarine interaction. Seventh, the refer to the loosely packed unconnected cells is mesenchyme cells. Eighth, the mesenchymal components of tooth is neural crest. Ninth, competence is not state but active acquired conditions. The answer is passive. Competence is not a passive state but an actively acquires conditions. 10th, objective. In developing chicks and mammalian eye, protein appear to be important in making the ectoderm. PAX6 is important. Inductive interactions are in nature is reciprocal. Inductive interaction are in nature reciprocal. The answer is reciprocal. 12. The two components of the inductive interaction are and inducer and responders. The answer is inducer and responder. 13. The mesenchymal cells form the neural crest, secrete an enzyme hyaluronidase enzymes. 14. The hormones dehydrogenase tissues make it transparent. Hormones dehydrate tissues and make it thyroxine. 15. The mesenchyma is responsible for the regional specificity of the inductive incompetence. Epidermal epithelial is dermal. The answer is dermal. The dermal mesenchyma is responsible for regional specificity of the induction in competence. Epidermal epithelial. 16. When the protein synthesized by one cell can be diffused over the small distance to induce change in neighboring cell, this event is known as paracrine interaction. This is a definition of paracrine interaction. Foot dermal mesenchymes and wing of the epidermal epithelial give to rise and scales and claws. 18 MCQs. The formation of the heart and lungs are embryonic induction. These are the secondary embryonic induction. The formation of heart and lens are secondary embryonic induction. The answer is secondary. Ninth, the epithelial competence of the kidney uric is uric bud epithelium. 20th MCQs. The tissue that produce a signal that change the cellular behavior of the other tissue is inducers. This is the definition of inducers. The topic is establishment of body axis and mechanism of teratogenesis in mammals. Objective related to this topic is dash is study of the abnormal development in embryo and cause the cognitive malformation or birth defect. This is the definition of teratology. This is the definition of teratology, in which the abnormal study of the embryo which is result in the cognitive malformations of the baby and birth defects. The answer is teratology. Second, the congenital malformation account for approximately death in parental periods 20%. Cognitive malformation account for approximately 20% of the death in parental periods. Third, teratological depend upon the ability of agent to cross placenta. The answer is placenta. Fourth, teratogenic agents cause approximately dash of the congenital malfunction. How much is 7%? In mice and humans, the forms on the side of the inner cell of the mass that exposed to the blastocyst fluid is hypoblast. As developmental proceed, the maintain the dorsal ventral polarity is notochord. The dorsal axis form the dash that are in contact with the trochoblast. The answer is ICM cell. The complete statement is dorsal axis forms from the ICM cells dash are contact with trochoblast. Eighth objective, the two signaling centers work together to form dash forebrain. The answer is forebrain. Some genes such as dash randomize the left-right axis for asymmetrical organs is situs inversus viscerum. Monosomy of the X chromosomes is referred to as Turner syndrome. These are the genetic disorder, chromosomal abnormality. 11th, infant with syndrome like trisomy 13 and trisomy 18 rarely live beyond the dash year of the life. The first years. It's difficult for the baby with trisomy 13 and trisomy 18 is difficult to survive more than 1 year. 12. The heart begins its formation at dash of embryo. The location is midline. The answer is midline. The complete statement is heart began its formation at the dash midline. The most critical period in development of embryo is during the time of most rapid cell division. The answer is cell division. Dash is found solely in left side of the abdomen. Which one is present on the left side of the abdomen is spleen. Dash form on the side of the epiblast opposite the anterior side. This is primitive streak. The complete statement is primitive streak forms on the side of the epiblast opposite to the anterior side of the anterior side. 16 objective. The anterior visceral endoderm express the several genes that are necessary for dash head formation. The answer is head formation. 17 objective. The induction of the primitive streaks depend on dash and it's modulated by the anterior visceral endoderm. The answer is nodal and wing signaling. 18. The genetic factors account for approximately dash of all the congenital malfunction. Approximately 1/4 of the all congenital malformation. 19 objective. The certain medications such as dash cannot be crossed the placenta due to the high molecular weight. The answer is heparin. Certain medications such as heparin cannot cross placenta due to the high molecular weight. Heparin. 20th. The specific dash are associated with the most common chromosomal defect is genetic syndrome. The specific genetic syndromes are associated with the most common. These are the objective which is important for public service exams, federal government exams, as well as educator. These objectives are important in terms of developmental biology. These are objectives from the Campbell's textbook of zoology, Miller and Harley, and other books. These are important for the objective point of view for the higher studies as well.